Okay, YouTubers, my latest project, I pretty much got it done, and the only other record I got of it is pictures, and I'll have to see about doing an edit to throw that in. But this was my old ATV trailer, and in my previous videos, I showed you how I moved the front out to move weight forward and make the trailer quit swaying when I go down the highway. Anyhow, went to my brother's shop and we modified this old ATV trailer to become a motorcycle trailer. And as far as I know of, this is the only one I've ever seen that has this kind of unique setup that I come up with for this thing. And I'll show you over here what we did. The front of the trailer, this was a 6-foot trailer. Right here was the 6-foot mark. We cut that off and extended it out 3 foot to make it 9 foot. And this style of trailer doesn't have a frame underneath it. You can see how the angle iron goes underneath. So that's why I used that I-beam right there, or C-channel, I'm sorry. And that is bolted in. You can see beside it is the ramp. And the ramp is aluminum, and it looks just like that. And they didn't have enough of the ramp, or the C-channel, aluminum C-channel, for me to buy and put a 6-foot section down the middle. Now you can see that one's bolted in, and because I really hadn't a way to weld it into the system. And if I ever find another piece like that, a 6-foot section of aluminum, I'll get it and put it down here, and that'll knock some weight off. But this ties all these ribs in down the middle and makes it really strong. Added some diagonals at the back because that was always a section that would twist. And we took our washers and just welded them in instead of bolting them in. And I threw a lot of them around, and I put them on the side. These are all hold downs. Now this is a regular lock-in wheel lock, and it had a piece. They use these for displays in dealerships, and this one I took that back piece out, slid it all the way forward, and it was exactly 3 foot long, and it fit right in there. You roll over it and this will lock under, but what I'm planning on doing is pulling that pin out, sliding under the wheel, and then locking it back in. Tying all this in really braced this up really good. We overlapped the angle iron to our top piece, which really braced it in pretty good. I had that one toolbox and it filled up with water. And I don't know how it did that, but it did. That one didn't, and it's going to stay on. But I got to find another toolbox to put all the crap I carry, straps and all other stuff. The original trailer has these tubes down here along the side. You can see it on that side. That's what carries the wiring. You can see the wiring on the end right there. But they put like a clear sealant inside that end, and so I wasn't able to get that out. And I'm going to try to run a drill in a long bit and see if I can't drill that out and get to where I can use these again, because the wiring like that underneath there is not good. And I keep having to fix this damn wiring and fix it, and I'm tired of that crap. I want it fixed permanently. We moved the back. These back pieces were up here. You can see that's where they were bolted in. We moved them up here and welded them in solid. As for the diagonal braces too. Now this last piece, I didn't want to bolt it in on the inside, so I put little angle iron tabs on this outside. That way, that flap on that ramp can fit down in there better. Them 2 pieces of bolts that stick out there at the end slide into these holes right here, and that's what holds that sucker in place. The end piece has been, you can see, taken off right there, and when you slide it down in there, it fits pretty flush into that area. Now, on the other side, you can see we angled the ramp entrance right there and smoothed all that out. I plan on putting some of that tread walk stuff you get grip with on steps and stuff like that. I want to line that whole thing with it, but I got to get some gelled super glue and put that down in the middle. Get enough pieces to go that distance and put that down in there. I burned up a saw cutting them aluminum tabs off, and so I ended up having to take this to a friend of mine who's got a machine shop and letting him finish it for me. He did that cutting too. You're going to see that cedar right there. Number one, I use cedar because I got a buttload of it, and number two, it doesn't rot. So what that does right there is when you run the bike up in there and you need to set it up while you're set it down on the kickstand while you're setting up all your straps and all that stuff. So that helps support the bike up where the kickstand is. I don't know if I'm going to have to bring any more down. I'm not real sure just yet. But I got it in a general area that I thought I'd need it. And I wanted them separated a little bit, that way, water runs off of it. Plan on painting this using a type of Rust-Oleum. I found some tractor paint over at an Atwood's. And Atwood's is similar to a Tractor Supply or a Great Northern down here. And it was like $26 for a gallon of oil-based tractor paint, which is going to be orange, so it's bright. That idea tied this whole frame in, or made a frame basically down the middle of it, and it tied it all in. And I'm real surprised on how it stiffened it up. Them are, I believe, 5/8 bolts that I used right there. And up front, there was 2 angle iron pieces that held that tongue in place, because this is where the front used to be. And I tied all them into that because this part had some warping going on, and I needed all that strength to pull it back together and straight. And it did pretty good. The front, you can see we copied what was right underneath that and ran the 2 channels of 3-inch angle iron up here, and we got our tongue back in. Now I did diagonal braces, and this is 3/16 by 2-inch or 2.5, 2 1/4, something like that, and it goes underneath there, all the way to this corner. So I have a diagonal on the trailer and a diagonal on the tongue. And the reason why I didn't overlap these is I wanted maximum amount of adhesion with the welding on top and bottom of each one to that tongue. And I had a diagonal going from the tongue up to this top piece right here. And you can see that brace goes underneath right there. Now I did little tacks down through here with that wire expanded metal. And I kind of copied what I had right there. I was going to use cedar and put all through here, but I didn't. And that's the original jack right there. Actually, it's the second one that's been on there, and it needs replaced too. Another trick I'm going to do is put 3 little flat-proof tires on there, make it wider so it doesn't sink down. You can see how it's sinking down in this dirt. Well, it's because all the damn rain we're getting and the fact that it's skinny. So I spread the load out, and that'll work better like that. Yeah, you can see all the tie-down points, which I spread all out throughout this thing. And all of them are welded in now, so they're not going to move. The great idea that I came up with for bikes that are broke down and they need loaded up is this little device right here. Now this is a boat winch, and I've had one laying around for a bunch of years. This is 1.5 square tubing, and with a 1.25 inch strapping on this side right here to put a diagonal strength in it. And I got a piece of 3/16 flat right there that I put that together with. Now I made it wide that way later on I could do this idea that I want to do, but right now this is a winch with a strap right here. And what I plan on doing is I'll back this up to where the bike is, put the ramp down, have the bike to the front, and then I'll grab this strap, pull it all the way down to the end down there, and then I'll take this device and I'll put it behind the forks and get a better view of it. The fork will be right there and right there. Hook that strap onto right here and slowly winch it up. Now a person will have to be on the bike to guide it up. This is what I have right now. But what I plan on doing is I'm going to keep this. It's made of cedar, ain't going to go nowhere. It's well braced and set up good. Is I'm going to take a winch, a little 1,500 pound winch, put right there, put a remote on it, and the cables that come off, I'll go to a battery, jump starts, and I'll put a quick connect that they look like two boxes and they snap together on that, and that way I could hook up to that winch and do that. I'll run that cable out down there and I'll hook it up to my front piece, and with one person sitting on a dead bike, I could take a remote, click it, and pull that bike all the way up here, single person, and never have to have a second person to load a bike up on a dead bike on a trailer. I braced the mount on this and got it above. This is the channel that's going to hold the tire, and kind of locks it in place. And so I kind of guesstimated on how high I needed it, and it's like I said, it's a guess. But for now, that's all I had. And I've done some grinding on this thing. These sections where it was modified before needed ground up some more. And because it's welded on so much, the welding is always harder than the regular metal, and it wears out them grinding pads pretty quick. But I used some channel angle iron underneath there to tie in all that. And right now, standing on this edge, you can see it doesn't twist much, and that's what I was shooting for. And it stays pretty daggum solid. So I took a trailer that I pretty much couldn't use no more, and modified it to where I can use it now. Me and my buddies ride a lot, and when you ride, eventually somebody's going to break down. We always have somebody breaking down. So this will help me out immensely. I got to get that ramp. That channel down through there is where I'm going to put that grip stuff all down that. But I'm going to super glue it. After I wire wheel it, I'll take a wire brush on a angle grinder, clean all that up, put that gelled super glue down, and put that stuff on, and it'll stay on pretty good. And but I took an old trailer that was useless, and now I made it into something. And I'd like to find another one of them, but I ain't been able to find one. And I had a ammo can right there, and believe it or not, it filled up with water, and I don't know how that happened. but I may have to try another ammo can and try another way to attach it, because I need a way to put straps on here. And but right now it's pretty daggum good. And later on I get that idea, put the little 1,500-pound winch on there. I may have to weld a fair head on the front, and maybe use like nylon instead of cable, unless the cable's got a clear coat wrapping on it or clear coat on it. But right now it looks ugly. Don't have it painted, and I do need new tires. And the tire shop down the road said I'm going to order some 10-ply and get me a new spare. But or 10-ply or 8-ply. I think he said he can get 8-ply on these. But I may put a flap on the front, mud slinger. You can see that right here I cut up a mud flap and put it on the inside, because that was always slinging crap up when I had the 4-wheeler. And I want to clean this booger up and paint it bright orange so it's seen out there. But that's where I'm at, and I come up with a good idea here to reuse this old trailer that had no use. And I got some good ideas for you guys. So anyhow, you guys have a good one. I hope this helps y'all out. See you later. Bye.